Okay, so Shalom. So listen, right? Um, so I get enough backlash. First, before I even get to that, I want to say something else. On my Instagram, I want you all to understand something. Okay? I've gotten over a couple hundred followers in the past 3 or 4 months or so. And I want everybody to understand something. As long as I tell that Bible the way that Bible is supposed to be told, I want you all to know that both men and women, you're going to like me at one point and you're going to hate me at another point. It's going to be a seesaw with me. This is how you can tell that you're a thoroughbred. You can tell that you're a thoroughbred if you either like me and you stay steady, or you either hate me and you stay steady. Because, well, I'm not going to say you're a thoroughbred if you hate me, because how can you hate the truth? That says a lot about yourself. But I want to give credit and I want to give a shout out to the few people that constantly give me love. Okay? Even if you don't like the posts, I can care less about all that anyway. Right? I don't care about likes or anything like that. I don't need anybody to reply to me about anything, telling me how much they love me, saying thank you to me or anything like that. That doesn't mean anything to me. Okay? So I just want you all to understand that. Right? There's a lot of people that they have a seesaw. Or some people, they come in, they say, oh, that guy, he's a straight shooter. They like me in the beginning, but you end up hating me. So even though I feed off of that, that's not what I'm trying to get. I'm not trying to get hatred, right? But that's just the way it works. A lot of people, they say, hey, it's a guy, he's a straight shooter. I like him. Go check him out. And then a week later, both the person that put him on and the person that got put on, they end up despising me. That's because it's only at the end of the day, most people, it's only but so much truth that you can take. You understand what I'm saying? So let's see if I'm telling any lies here. Okay, so there's two major issues with relationships. And I want to say relationships because the camps talk about marriage a lot and churches talk about marriage. I just want you all to understand something, right? Some people say that I shouldn't be talking to many of you that are outside of the circumcision. Sometimes I think they're correct. And sometimes I say, well, there are a few of you out there that I can reach. So I have an audience now where many of you don't even consider marriage. Many of you don't even care about marriage. So I have to make sure that because at the end of the day, Christ has given us mercy. Many of you out there are fornicating all crazy, right? not considering marriage. And there are some of you who are in relationships, and now you have a situation, now you have this new thing that you all call a situationship. See, this is how bad it's getting, right? No regard for marriage anymore, right? And that's mainly coming from the female side. Now, I'm going to be 100% fair with this message. I'm not going to be unfair with this message. I'm not going to take the side I'm not going to be biased, and I'm not going to be a sucker and give women credit and protect women like a lot of you cats out there. You give them unnecessary credit and you protect their wickedness. I don't like the way some of you men are, right? And that's how I know for real, who really runs your house. If you're a man that's always coming out and you're always bashing other men and talking trash about other men, that's because you're kissing your wife's ass. I'm not stupid, okay? But I'm not going to be biased, and I'm not going to protect the women, okay? I'm a shoot straight just like I always shoot, all right? I shot straight my last message. I'm going to shoot straight this message, and I'm going to shoot straight the next message. Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So, some of the main problems in any ship, whether it's a marriage, a relationship, or a situationship. Now, the churches and the camps are probably most likely, rightfully, they're going to rightfully disagree with me because I'm going to mention relationships. I'm not going to mention situationships because that's just foolishness. But there are people out there that are in relationships. They've been in relationships for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. Okay? So my wife would not tolerate me being in a relationship with her for longer than 3 years without putting a ring on it. She simply would not have tolerated that. Okay? So I've been with a woman for 22 years. Even the females prior to her, I've always been in a situation that was sort of lengthy. 22 years before this, 10 years before that, 8 years. So I was the type of guy, and whether you all believe it or not, as ugly as I am, I left. I'm the one that did the leaving because you give a woman so much time to come around to understanding the Most High. And some women just can't do it. They're not going to be able to do it. Now, I had my heart broken in high school. But that high school stuff, I got over that really quickly. Christ put a spirit over me to be able to walk away from that pretty quickly. Okay? So, two of the bigger issues within relationships, okay, is money. I'm going to say infidelity. Okay? The problem that I had early on in my marriage was financial problems. I remember when, and I'm not saying it like I'm still a poor man. I'm a poor man. You all here in Philadelphia, you see what I drive around in. I'm a bum, right? So you got to be careful because I don't want to talk too highly of myself because not I'm still a poor man. But at least now I can buy a refrigerator. If my family needed a refrigerator, I could buy a refrigerator if we needed one. If it broke down, I can purchase one. So I remember a time when I couldn't purchase a refrigerator for my family. We didn't have a refrigerator. Well, the refrigerator broke. The refrigerator we had, it broke. I tried to fix it. I couldn't fix it. The motor was gone. And I didn't have the funds to purchase another refrigerator. And that was a bad thing because I remember the food spoiling, the food going bad, and it wasn't good, right? Among that, among that, we were both taking the bus at that time. And them trans passes, SEPTA, and I heard SEPTA's going up again. Them trans passes are hurt, man. You know, they worse than gas, in my personal opinion. Well, the car that I'm driving right now, the little Toyota, very good on gas. It's better than buying some SEPTA trans passes. I say some of you ought to take SEPTA. I say y'all got bread because SEPTA is killing y'all. So you're cheaper off getting a small car or finding some type of way to get a small car that's efficient on gas. So I want to get into this. So first of all, um, I'm speaking to a wide variety of people I know. I'm not saying that the audience is big, but the audience is diverse. So I have those of the circumcision, I have those in religion, I have non-believers between the ages of 20 and 50. People that's never cared about the Bible whatsoever. Okay? Until they started listening to this ministry. So, one night, one happy evening, right? A very happy evening. My wife went into my phone. Now, I'm saying that this is a happy evening because things were going smooth as a fan. So, I went up to the bathroom and she decided this night that she wanted to go on my phone. And just so happened, I was stupid enough to have a flick of me hitting a striking abroad from the back on the beach. So my slanderers, my phone's tapped, and they chime in. Now, I'm trying to tell y'all, they make up a lot of stuff. Okay? They really do. I know some of y'all are like, well, that might be true because you'd be surprised the stuff that they make up out of nowhere. Like, if they just have nothing negative to say, they will just say something negative. They'll just bring up something. I'm doing something. Right? So she saw this flick, right? And she gave me hell for an entire year straight. She gave me hell for an entire year. the worst hell because she was hurt. Okay? Now, I want to first, this is interesting. So, I don't want you to think that this is going to be a boring message. So, I want to go to the Old Testament. And I actually want to tell you all what adultery is. Now, I know many of you are not married. I want to go to Leviticus chapter 20. So, what is adultery? Now, I need y'all to listen because many of you out there are about to learn something. Even many of you in the circumcision, you're about to learn something. What is adultery? We're not going to say according to the Bible. Well, we can say that. But when I say that, it makes it as if, okay, that's according to the Bible, but according to such and such, or according to science, or according to her, or according to him. So the scriptures has no rival. So I don't want to say according to the Bible. I want to say what is adultery. Thus saith Yahuwah. Now, many of you are going to be surprised. And I want you all to listen very carefully. Okay? What is adultery? And a man that committeth adultery with another man's wife. That's one form of adultery. So I just listen. What's adultery? If you have sex with another man's wife, you have committed adultery. Now, I want you to keep listening. Okay? The adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. And the man that lieth with his father's wife hath uncovered his father's nakedness. So now I want you to listen. You perverts, listen, because this is not talking about a son and a father. Listen to what it says. What is it called when you uncover your father's nakedness? When you do that, a way to do that is to sleep with your father's wife. So that's not your mom. That's just your father's wife. Now, you're figuring, well, this is the Bible. So the Bible is supposed to be righteous. So why is it saying his father's wife? It's like it's condoning his father to not be with your mother. No, not necessarily, but you have to understand something. During these times, men had more than one woman. In many cases, men had concubines, okay? And you were not as a son, you were not supposed to sleep with your father's concubine. If you did that, you were an adulterer. So I need y'all to pay careful attention. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, if a man lie with his daughter-in-law, that's adultery. Both of them. Whoa, wait a minute. Both of them shall surely be put to death. They have wrought confusion. They have brought confusion underneath the house, in the house. Their blood shall be upon them. Now, there's a reason why I'm reading this. I just want you to keep listening. What is adultery? These are the types of adultery. If a man lie with, if one man lie with another man, as he lies with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. If a man take a wife and her mother, so if I slept with my wife and her mother, it is wickedness. They shall be burnt with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you. So what is this? I'm reading the different types of adultery. Another man's wife, your father's wife, your daughter-in-law, another man. Let me keep reading. Can't take a wife and her mother. And if a man lie with a beast, an animal, he shall surely be put to death. And ye shall slay the beast. And if a woman approach to any beast and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And it's sad because the beast didn't do nothing. But see, the beast probably enjoyed it. And now the beast is in confusion. So the beast has to be put to death. You white women that like lying with horses, Christ is going to put y'all to death. We have not been given mercy. We have not been given mercy to disregard the law of Moses. Okay? And if a man take his sister, his father's daughter, your sister, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness, it is a wicked thing. And they shall be cut off in the sight of their people. He hath uncovered his sister's nakedness. He shall bear his iniquity. And if a man shall lie with a woman having her sickness, period, and shall uncover her nakedness, he hath discovered her fountain, and she hath uncovered the fountain of her blood, and both of them shall be cut off from among the people. And thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister, or thy father's sister, your aunts, or your uncles, for he uncovereth his near kin, family member, they shall bear their iniquity. And if a man shall lie with his uncle's wife, he hath uncovered his uncle's nakedness. So the last one is if a man take his brother's wife. It is an unclean thing. He hath uncovered his brother's nakedness. They shall be childless. Now, if you die, then there's a clause. Your brother can marry your wife if you die. But here's the punchline. It never mentioned a man having sex with a woman that wasn't married. I want y'all to understand where I'm going with this. So, even if you're a married man, according to the law, now, I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm going to go to the New Testament and I'm going to let you all hear some things. But I just want you to understand what adultery is, according to the Bible. So for those of you in the circumcision, you don't have to say I'm trying to condone anything, because I'm not. I'm reading the scriptures. So if a man lie down with a woman that's not married, whether he have a wife or not, that's not adultery. Natural sex between a man and a woman is not adultery. So I just want you all to understand that. Now, I'm not condoning anything, okay? But I want to move forward. So it's safe to say that adultery was understood as sexual relations between a married or an engaged woman and a man other than her husband. If the woman is not married, it's not adultery. It was therefore a sin against the husband. Okay? Now, I need y'all to understand something. The elitists and the untouchables, they know something very important. When a man humbles a woman, meaning when a man takes a woman, now she's supposed to be a virgin, but I'm not going to get into that tonight, okay? Because I have enough enemies. I have enough enemies. So we know there are hardly any virgins out here. Okay? So we're not even going to get into that. But that's kind of important in a way. But we're not going to get really right into that right now. So I want you all to understand one of the reasons why we're, as a black folk, entrapped in generational curses. The elitists, controlled by Satan, they understand something very important. When a man has sex with a woman, that woman is forbidden to have sex with any other man going forward. Now, my wife was not a virgin, and most women today are not virgins. So, if you all want to understand why adultery and the consequences of adultery is a black cloud over our head as a people, really all mankind, because the women are losing their virginity, and they're not supposed to have sex after that, except for by the man that took their virginity. But that is a thing of the past. You women don't even consider the man that you're losing your virginity to be your final partner. You don't even consider. You know within your heart that you're going to get some more eggplants. Some of you have already made the decision that after that first eggplant, you're going to receive many more. Mankind is in a constant state of adultery because, quite technically, sex was considered marriage. Now, there were ceremonies, but after the consummation, the ceremony was supposed to take place. Because whomever a man humbled, that was it. But understand, there's nothing new under the sun. Just as we are today, even back then, it got out of control. Christ swallowed up 30,000 people in the wilderness because of fornication. Now, I want to go to Matthew chapter 5. It has been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorce. But I say to you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saying, for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her, that is divorced, committeth adultery. Let me explain what Christ just said. If you're a man married to your wife, and you put her away, Christ is saying, unlike the Old Testament, when Moses allowed you to throw away your wife for any reason, whether it be her feet stink, whether it be she can't cook, whether it be she was loud, whether it be she was 500 pounds, for whatever you like, you can throw the heifer away. But Christ said, the only way you can divorce your wife under the renewed covenant is if she lied with another man. You're not supposed to take your wife back if she lied with another man. Now, I know some of you women were like, well, Dad, I thought you were taking up for women. Well, I'm not taking up for anybody. But I'm going to make a good point for you women. Because a lot of men, there's a lot of men, and I want to say this respectfully. There's a lot of men on social media that are not in relationships. You're not in relationships. You haven't been able to hold a relationship for 4 or 5 or even 6 months. Some of you men, the only way you've held your relationship is many of you play the role of the bitch in your relationship. And or there's just a lot going on. There's a lot of men that just aren't qualified to give relationship advice. Am I perfect? I'm not perfect. But I've held a woman for 22 years. And I've known people have been together for 40, 50 years. Some people, and I take my hat off to those people. I can't do that. I don't know. Right? But there's just a lot of men giving advice. You can't even speak on the subject, let alone give advice. There's a lot of men that don't even know how to be a man in their relationship. Don't even know how to be a man. So I want to keep going. I want to go to Sarai 26 and 23. Sarai chapter 26 and 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth Yahuwah. I don't think many of you understand the magnitude of that scripture. I don't have a lot of scriptures here. This is not going to be a very long message. Okay? No more Sunday messages, by the way. The playoffs are on. Bad enough y'all don't want to watch me now. I'm not going to compete with the playoffs. There'll be no messages on Sunday. Okay? So it says that a wicked woman is given to a wicked man, and a godly woman is given to a godly man. So that's also vice versa. Has anybody ever seen two wicked people together? Oh man, I got some family members. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. But it's just to give you all an FYI. So when you see a couple that has been together for 10 plus years, hell, 5 plus years nowadays. I'm not gonna say 5 plus years because 5 years you just getting your nose wet into the relationship. After 5 years, you really just starting to know the person. After 5 years, and you really ain't gonna never get to know nobody unless you live with them, right? So the Bible says, so if you want to know why, if you're a man and you want to know why your woman is wicked as hell, because it says that a wicked woman is given to a wicked man, and a godly woman is given to a man that fears Christ. It's just that simple. So if we've came across some wicked people in our past, it's because we were wicked or because we got into the situation for the wrong reasons, whether it be for the body parts or whether it be for their money or what they can do for us, how they can help exalt us. That's the wrong reason. See, I want to give you women a secret. Now, this may be a matter of opinion, but this is my opinion. I'm gonna just say an opinion because this is not the Bible, and all men may not feel like this. So I'm not even going to generalize as men. I'm gonna speak for myself. Let me do that. I don't really care about love. I think the woman is more so concerned about receiving love, and the man is more so concerned about receiving respect, and he wants instructions followed. See, what's going on now today is that when a woman comes across a real man, she says he's controlling. He's controlling. You're not controlled. You're not gonna control me. Why is it controlling? So if your man is effeminate or he acts like a little boy, or you are able to control him or make him like a puppet, then that's okay. You're okay with that, even though that's ass backwards and out of order. So this is the problem that I'm having with a lot of the men today. Some of you, you're just not demanding in your aura, and you're not demanding in your presence and your character of what you're supposed to receive and or taking care of your business So I've understood something. Well, this is what I've experienced. The sexual part is really not that it's really not that hard. Some relationships struggle sexually. Some do. Probably because they're not on the same, they don't like the same things. I don't know. There's many different reasons behind that. But if you can get stiff, my situation, as long as I can get stiff, she'll be fine. Not too many issues there. One of our main issues, once upon a time, and nothing really has changed but too much, it's just financial issues here and there. Trying to make the ends meet, trying to get from one level to the next, just like everybody else. That was an issue. The two major issues in my marriage was finance and the Bible. Finance and the Bible. The Bible was a big issue for my marriage because my wife is from the Caribbean, and I happen to think that just in case many of you want to make an assumption why I chose my wife, American sisters are kinder than Jamaican sisters, than Caribbean sisters. In case you haven't noticed that, Caribbean women can be really stiff-necked and really evil. They can be. So to try to get a Caribbean woman to fall in line, it could be more complicated, even more so than an American sister. It's not control when a man goes by the Bible. It's not called control when a man acts like a man. That's not control. That's why so many of you females are hanging around with all these homosexual men now. Why do you have to have, why can't you save their lives while you're with them and tell them the word? We've gotten away from our Creator. We've gotten so far away from our Creator where you black women don't even care about the afterlives of these black men. None of you believe in hellfire, do you? Now, I want to explain a big problem. This is not a very long lesson. I want to explain a big problem with a lot of the men out there. I just mentioned it. Proverbs 31, verse 3. Proverbs 31, verse 3. Give not thy strength unto a woman, nor thy ways that which destroyeth kings. Do you know that if a man gives his strength, his territory over to a woman, the relationship is over? It's over. If you give your strength to your woman, the foundation of the relationship is over. It's over. The foundation thereof is over. You can forget about it. Once you start doing a whole bunch of crying in front of your woman, and once You start letting her make the decisions. Once you lose your grip, the order of that relationship is finished. Not unless you want to stay under her control. Because there are a lot of women out here that want to be in control. That's the Zabul spirit, the Jezebel spirit. That's a very powerful spirit. And that spirit can also come upon men. The Jezebel spirit is not a female spirit per se. It's an ancient demonic spirit that can come and take control of both women and men. Give not your strength to a woman. You know that we are the only men that really have that problem. Well, there's a lot of white men that have that problem too. American men. Because a lot of white men have that problem. Oh my God. Every time I'm down here around my aunt building, down here around 40th and Market, around this area, every time I see a young couple, don't let it be a college couple. A young Caucasian couple, the female is almost always walking on the outside. Almost always. Some of you young Caucasian men, you're finished. I see some of you black men like that too. Some of you say it doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter. Who walks on the inside and who walks on the outside, it does matter. It does matter. It does matter. And these little college Arab children and these college Chinese children, same thing. Not the older Arabs. The older Arab men ain't having that. Then again, I don't know. The world is coming to shit, man. Because I can't. Some of them even folding, man. Some of them folding too. Okay? So, it's just going crazy out here. See, Satan knows what he's doing. Now, I'm here tonight because you got a lot of men out here who are Kevin Samuels worshipers. Okay? No disrespect to Kevin Samuels. Okay? But you got a lot of men out here. Y'all follow this dude's footsteps, left and right. Now, listen, I want to say something, right? I agree with a lot of the things that Kevin Samuels said. I do. But a lot of the things that he said were superficial and they were contrary to the scriptures. Okay? Now, it's this big thing about overweight women. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Me personally, I personally don't mind a plus size woman. That's me personally. I mean, I can take them small, I can take them plus. It don't matter. I'm not allergic to bigger women. There are a lot of plus size women out here that are very sexually attractive to me and to a lot of brothers. But see, a lot of you brothers, I know you're not built like that. You can't, some of you can't be seen with a plus size woman. That's because you're weak. That's not, that has nothing to do. If you can take her into closed doors and have sex with her, then you shouldn't mind being seen with her. There are a lot of big, beautiful women, especially all across the social media. They're everywhere. Now, you got to be careful with a plus size woman because when she get pregnant, she could blow up. So you got to be careful from that standpoint. But for the most part, there are a lot of heavy set, beautiful women out here that if I were single, I would have no remorse or hesitation or no shame in dealing with them. Okay? So that's one area where I think Kevin Samuels went wrong. The superficial area. Okay? Also, a lot of men has to understand that there really aren't any virgins available today. If you're a man out here and you're looking for a virgin, you're going to be looking for a very long time. I mean, you can probably go online or something, right? Pull up virgins. I don't know. And that's only a claim. They only claiming to be virgins. I mean, you'll know if you ever got a chance because you'll know, but they can still claim it and not be a virgin. So you got some fools out here that they're saying they're only going to marry a virgin and all that. Look, whatever. Good luck with trying to find a virgin, okay? So I don't want to freestyle too much, but we're in Proverbs 31. I'm not going to read the whole chapter. It was only 3 verses that I wanted to pull out. So give not thy strength to a woman. I think that many of you men have no idea how important that is. If you can't be any type of way, if you can't say anything you want to your woman without being, damn, if I say that, they may be corny. Or if I talk about Christ, she may think that's corny. Then I'm not getting none tonight. Or moreover, she might just leave me. Some of y'all men out there are believers in Christ. And within yourself, you stand for the Bible, but you can never teach your woman the Bible because she's not in that mind frame where you can teach her. And if you try to teach her, she's probably going to leave. That's pretty dangerous. The statistics show that it is the women that leave the relationships, not the men. 80% of the statistics, the woman is leaving. Because women, the elitists, are brainwashing the women to be so picky, to be so fine print, that any little thing, If you're courting a woman today or you're dating a woman today, dating without sex, some of these women, you can say any little thing. If she think it's corny, if she think it's lame, if she think it's whack, if she think you a nut, any little thing. But it's mainly our sisters that have been brainwashed like that. You see a little Arab girl or a little white girl or a little Chinese girl, you may see him with a nerd, right? And you'll say, damn, dude, he's like totally a nerd. Like his glasses are thick. He got his pants up like Urkel. He's carrying his books, walking on the inside of the pavement. But truth be told, other nationalities, they consider friendship and compatibility more than a lot of things than us as a black people. Us as a black people, from the woman's standpoint, it's what can you do for her right out of the back, right from the back. What can you do for her? Can you pay her rent? Can you pay her car note? And with the men, it's if she not passing up the jelly jar, if she ain't giving me no jelly jar, what good is she? So the whole concept of marriage has been eliminated. Eliminated. People don't even consider marriage today. Don't even consider it. This world is going to SHIT, man. Proverbs 31, verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is above rubies. A virtuous woman, her price is above rubies. So you think it's easy to find a ruby? Who can find a virtuous woman? A lot of y'all young brothers, man, 35 and under. Hell, I'm going to say 40 and under. A lot of y'all brothers that's 40 and under, 40 and under. I'm going to say 30 and under. It's real bad for y'all. It's real bad for y'all, man. And for the women, too. A lot of you women, I feel sorry for y'all because half of these young men today don't even know what they want to like. There is no sense of control with a lot of the young men today. If you give them a piece of PUSSY, they don't know how to handle it. They just, it's over for them. This young generation, the majority of this young generation has turned over their power to the females. Not all of them, not all of them, but a lot of them. Listen carefully. Verse 11. Proverbs 31, verse 11. A virtuous woman, the heart of her husband, do safely trust in her, so that he shall not have a need for spoil. What does that mean? I don't have to worry about you being spoiled. I mean, I don't have to worry about you being FUCK. When a man has a virtuous woman, he doesn't have to worry. Now, if y'all are over, if the relationship is over and she moves on, then she moves on. And you move on, then you move on. Now, that's not supposed to happen for her. But what's the point in me elaborating on that? In other words, the woman is not supposed to have sex with any other man after the first man. We're not even going to go there because we know damn well that that just doesn't exist today. We know that. It doesn't exist. So, like I said, in these modern relationships today, if it's over, it's over. Let her go. She should let you go. If it's done, it's done. You're not compatible, you're not compatible. And if she pass off, wish her luck. Wish her blessings. Hopefully, if she's going to open her legs, hopefully she opens her legs to the right man this time. I want to go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. And then we'll almost be done. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. One Corinthians chapter 7. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. So we're in a situation here that it doesn't make sense if I elaborate on it. Now, for older men like myself, God forbid, but if me and my wife were to divorce or whatever, then it would be better for me to abstain from women, especially me, because I have a ministry. Because the likelihood of Mrs. Wright coming into my life after 25 years, of whom I thought was Mrs. Wright, is very slim. So Paul is just basically saying, see, Paul had an issue with women. So being as though he's now a vessel for Christ, Paul said, hey, look, listen, me personally, I'm just not going to deal with women. No, Paul didn't deal with men. Paul was a man of Christ. He just didn't deal with women because women was his problem. He had a problem with women. Now he's saying, now concerning the things whereof he wrote unto me, so it's better for a man to focus on his mission, to focus on his purpose, and to not deal with a woman. But Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. So I'm going to get to a point here because this is actually talking about people who are not married. So right now, I'm speaking to people who out there who are in relationships, been together for some time. The man hasn't married the woman yet. Okay? I want y'all to listen very carefully. Well, actually, he's actually going to talk to the married first. I apologize. So this is for the married, and then I'm going to talk to the unmarried. So Paul's going to say, let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto her husband. So if you all out there in a relationship, and you got a woman that like to play around with the pussy, she's a problem. Okay? Some women do that because they want you to assert your authority, but not every man can do that in his household. And some women just don't want to pass off for whatever reason. But whether you be behind in bills or whether she just doesn't like you. Whatever the case, I don't know. But at the end of the day, that's very toxic. For a man and a woman to not give themselves to one another is toxic. Okay? And as men, we all go through that. You know, she mad at you for whatever reason. She don't want to pass off. Whatever the case. So it's going to say here that the wife hath not power over her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife. Defraud ye not one another, except it be with consent for a time. So if you're going to defraud one another, let it be only for fasting, prayer, a specific event, maybe, whatever. But then come back together and make love after that. Okay? That ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer. And then he says, and come together again. That Satan tempt you not for your incontinency. So, women, open your legs for your man. And to the men, you know, sometimes it's good to tease them, but you eventually want to pass off. Why? Because Satan is a roaring lion waiting to intercept marriages. Okay? Remember, Satan got the pussy out of Eve. Satan got Eve to pass up the drawers. Okay? I've proven that already. Okay? Satan, the serpent, had sex with Eve. Okay? That's what happened. That's why we have a serpent seed today. Okay? And I want you women to understand something. Because many of you think that somebody's just trying to come down on y'all. Satan has the same playbook that he has had since the garden. Satan's playbook is to come at the woman in a relationship, in an engagement, or a marriage. Satan's objective is to infiltrate the house. He has tried to come in between me and my wife on many occasions. My slanderer would send text messages to my wife from unknown numbers that we can't call back, or wicked, wicked, wicked people. They are my slanderers. And they would text all types of wicked things to my wife, saying I'm doing this and saying I'm doing that. Some of the things I don't even want to mention. Horrific, abominable things. But my wife knew me better. Now, don't get me wrong. Those slanders has caused damage. They're going to cause damage. No way around that. They're going to cause some type of damage. But ultimately, she knows those things aren't true. So, defraud not one another, except it be with consent for a time, and then come back together, so that you don't be tempted by Satan. But I speak this by permission, and not of commandment. For I would that all men were even as myself, but every man hath his proper gift of God, one after this manner, and another after that. So Paul was saying, all of you in the congregation, I wish that all you niggas was like me, abstaining from sex. Why? Because that shows authority. When a man withholds sex, it's authority, it's dominance. It's the same thing that women do. They withhold it because they know it's dominance. They know it's authority. Now, not all women can withhold sex. Depends on what the relationship is like. But in many cases today, in a lot of these modern relationships, when the woman doesn't get something out of the man, if her nails ain't done, if her umbrella eyelashes ain't bought, or her weave, or whatever the case, or her red bottoms, or Balenciaga, or if you just don't give in to her ways, if you just don't do what she says. And it's a lot of older men that are in this situation also. I'm not talking big Billy Goat. My wife is no sucker. I can't kick in the door and tell my wife to do this and do that. I can't do it. She's a feisty little Caribbean woman. She'll fight me. Right? I'm not a dictator. My wife is grown. But she's understanding the order of things. She knows it's not in her right to control shit. She understands this now. A lot of our women, not only just our sisters, but American women, don't understand that. There's a lot of white women out here running their houses. A lot. And it's getting so bad. When you see the China man getting cussed out, I went. I remember one time I went to get my aunt some rice. I went to get my aunt some Chinese rice. And when I walked in there, the China woman, and this is an older couple in their 50s, she was laying him out. I don't know what she was saying, but I saw her throw her hand down. And he was, I was like, what? When you see the China man get cussed out, it's getting bad. There's no way that the order can work with the woman in control. It can't work. It's impossible. It's impossible. Now he's going to speak to the unmarried. He says, therefore, to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I. So Paul is even telling the women. Paul is even telling the women, no, that's not a family member. Paul is even telling the women that the women should abstain from sex. Now, women specifically should abstain from sex. Now, I know a lot of you women out there, y'all snatches is on fire because y'all abstaining. I know. There's a lot of good sisters out there that's abstaining. And I know y'all snatches is probably on fire. But I'm going to tell y'all women something right now. If you come across that godly man, and you high in mileage, you ain't worth nothing. If you're high in knowledge and you're unable to be taught, and you're high in age with multiple children, that means that you are the one who left all your baby daddies. The likelihood. Maybe you got left by one of them, but why did he leave you? So, it basically says here, but if they cannot, so in other words, Paul says, if you unmarried people, if you don't have the willpower that I have to abstain, let them marry. For it is better to marry than to burn. So, what is that saying? That's saying that if you are dating someone, probably without sex, but your pistol in heat and her snatches in heat, and y'all just can't hang in there, Paul is saying, well, just get married. May not be the one for you and all of that. So that's Paul's advice. That's not the scriptures. Paul gives advice too. I don't really personally agree with that. I say abstain and court for as long as you can. So you get to know the person. But Men, watch out for women that they're courting you, but they passing up the snatch. They're no good. If you're dating a man without sex, you're getting to know him. You might be trying to use him for money and dates while you passing the snatch off to Tyrone. You're no good. You're worthless. You're useless. You're useless. If you're not able to listen to instructions and listen and learn, then you're worthless. Now, I want to end this with the men, right? But I want to be careful with saying this because you have some people out here that are men and they bash men. That's very weak in my book. To make your girlfriends or your wives happy, that ain't cool. So your woman can't get upset about what people say and then try to sick you on the men that she's upset with about what they said about. And you come out and you lash at the men as a man. I want you all to understand something. I want you men to listen very carefully. I want to go to 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 8. 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 8. But if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for those in his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. I want to be careful with this. I am not the perfect father, and I am not the perfect provider. There are better men out there that are better providers than I could ever be. I just want to offer that humility. There are better fathers out there. There's men that got their wife living in $4, $5, $6, $7, $800,000, $1 million houses. Okay? But at the end of the day, I am a hustler and I'm a hard worker and I provide the best way that I can. And if there's something that my family needs, I can provide it. There are men out there that you can't provide shit. Some of y'all can't even provide for yourselves. You have no authority at all. So, for a lot of you men out there that you point your finger at the woman and you say, well, she don't do this and she don't do that. What is it that you're not doing as a man? Some of you want all of this respect. And some of you want to throw this foot down and stomp that foot down. But you can't even provide. It says, this is the Bible. My fault. I got a boogie. But I ain't gonna get it right now. I ain't gonna do all that. This message is almost over and I'm gonna get it. Irritating me though. But you gotta at least be a hustler. I'm not talking about shucking and jiving. Let me tell you something. I know a lot of y'all brothers out there, rappers, entertainers, singers, social network moguls, pol- comedians, um, advice givers, right? I know that that's an all or nothing. It can be a grind, but when it's a grind, it's a slow grind. It's hardly nothing. And I know it can be hard. For my brothers that rap, I got love for y'all. Respect to all y'all, all right? Some of y'all know it's a grind. Some of y'all can blow up. But if you're doing okay and you're grinding and you're making ends meet, then fine. But if you're singing, if you're rapping, if you're giving game on social media or whatever the case, it's not about you. It's about your family. It's about your children. Sometimes we have to do things to make the ends meet. Now I know a man not gonna go to McDonald's. I know a 30-year-old man, 40, 50-year-old man is not gonna go to McDonald's and work. I understand that. But I understand that. I understand that. I know a 40, 50, 30, 40, 50-year-old man is not going to go to Walmart and work. I understand that. But you have to find your niche somewhere. I know Amazon, I heard Amazon laying off a lot of people. But Amazon was not a bad hustle. It was not a bad hustle. It really wasn't. It wasn't a hustle where people look at you and be like, he working for Amazon. Because Amazon will put a little penny in your pocket. Some brothers deliver blood. I do that sometimes. It's not a bad penny. If I make a delivery to New York, that's $200. A trip to New York, $200. If I do 2 trips, if I go to New York, if I go to Yonkers, there's a laundromat in Yonkers. And the back of that, I think it's on Yonkers Avenue, somewhere, I forgot, because it's been a while since I've been there. But in back of that laundromat is a blood bank. I used to make 2 of those trips in one day, and I'm done. $400. That's not a bad hustle. Some of y'all that do Uber or whatever, I mean, Uber, you got to grind. And I wouldn't even mess around with that Uber app. But listen, there's some things that you can do that if your career is in stalemate or slow motion, it's about if your son or your daughter call you, say, Daddy, I need $100. I need $200. It's about if your daughters or your mothers, it's about your daughter or your son's mother call you and say, JJ need $600 for his tuition, and you have it, and you got it available readily. Now, I'm gonna keep it gang. My daughter has been an evil little MFer lately, just evil. And I told her she's not going to get not one red cent from me unless it's for her nursing class or if she need help with a vehicle. That's it. If her boyfriend that she's been with for the past 5 years want to go half with me on a vehicle for her, and we go to the car lot and we pick it out, and that little nigga play his part, and he put up the half, and I put, or he do something, because I'm not gonna buy it outright. Why? Because I've been up these avenues before, and I'm not appreciated. When she wants to start her nursing class, if in fact she wants to start her nursing class, I got the 25, $3,000, whatever it's gonna cost for her tuition, so she can go ahead and get involved in that medical field and get that and at least get that under her belt. So now I'm pushing her for entrepreneur, but listen, everybody can't be an entrepreneur. Everybody want to be an entrepreneur now. And there's nothing wrong with seeking that, doing that, but you should have something to fall back on. Being a nurse is a powerful trade because nurses will never know where their next meal is coming from. A nurse will never worry about where her next meal is coming from. If you are in infrastructure or the medical field right now, you will never be concerned about where your next meal is coming from. Never. Infrastructure and the medical field. To do anything else really is uncivilized. If you're not building shit or walking into a hospital poking people, then what else really is there in terms of working? I'm not saying being an entrepreneur. And I'm an advocate of that too. But some people think it's a walk in the park. It's not. Being an entrepreneur is not a walk in the park. And in many cases, you're working harder for yourself than you're working for somebody else. So I'm just saying, a lot of our men need to suck up our pride with a lot of things. It's not always about us. Now, of course, a nigga not gonna go work at McDonald's. I understand that. There's got to be a limit. There has to be a pride limit. I understand that. But you have to have the passion to make something happen. Now, if you want to be an entrepreneur, I got a scripture for you. But this is also for somebody who's working. You may understand that you have to work. Some people out here working 2 jobs. I'm not an advocate of that. But what I'm saying is, you have to provide to the best way you can. And I just want to reiterate something. And I probably shouldn't have to, but I'm going to do it anyway. I know there's a lot of brothers out here doing a lot better than I will ever do for my family. And I'm taking my hat off to y'all. And don't stop. Don't stop. Keep pushing. Because I'm not competing with y'all brothers. I'm just doing what I can for mine while you do what you can for yours. But even if you are a man that's scrambling, even if you're a man that's hurting and you hustling and you trying, if you are not in the category of at least attempting to provide, you ain't shit. And you don't deserve no authority in your household. In fact, You don't deserve authority at all anywhere in life. If you somebody that's always shucking and jiving and playing games, then you don't deserve anything. Now, here's something for a lot of entrepreneurs out here. Proverbs 6, 6 through 11. Proverbs chapter 6, verses 6 through 11. Here's some advice for you entrepreneurs. This is Christ talking. Christ says, go to the ant. You know the insect, the ant? Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider his ways and be wise. This ant has no commander, no overseer, and no ruler. For those of you who want to be entrepreneurs, yet this ant stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. How long will you lie there, you sluggard? When will you get up from your sleep? A little sleep? You take a little sleep? You have a little slumber? A little folding of the hands to rest? And poverty will come on you like a thief, and scarcity like an armed man. Damn. So Christ said, you fold your arms a little bit, you take a little slumber, just a little bit, and poverty will come upon you swiftly. Now, sometimes you people here in Philadelphia, you may see an old man like this in his car. Because I ain't gonna front, when I'm picking up my wife from work, that's my time to do this. Because I'm waiting for her to come out the building. And I'm tired. I'm a tired man. I'm tired. I'm tired, man. But I keep going. And I'm the type of man that if I was to look at my son or my wife or my mother and I saw tears coming down their eyes and they ain't had no food or whatever the case may be, I will work at McDonald's. Now, there's probably no need for me to go that route, but I'm just giving an explanation on how I'm going to get something cracking some way, somehow. Now, I'm not going to do anything. I have integrity. But as long as it's within the guidelines of being a stand-up man and having integrity, I'm going to find a way. I'm not going to be selfish. It's not about me at all. So there's a lot of men on Facebook. Well, I don't even know why I keep saying Facebook. Well, I still do look. I still do go. I watch Facebook. I do. Not often, but I watch Facebook. Really, mainly my things now really is YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Sometimes Twitter be hot. Now I have an account. I'm not even gonna tell anybody my account because I don't post, I don't do anything. But I do watch some shit. I troll on Twitter. And I have two accounts on Instagram. I'm about to start posting. Now, some people say I have a fake page. I don't have a fake page. I just troll. I go everywhere. I do. I do it through my Taragoon page. And I don't follow a lot of people because I've realized how immature social media can be. So I don't need the followers anyway. I get the notification. I don't care about followers. So I'm about to go ahead and shut this thing down. But there's a lot of men on social media that think that you're qualified to talk about women. No, you're not. No, you're not. Some of y'all ain't got a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. You can't say anything about anybody. Young men, all the way from the ages of 25 all the way to the ages of 50. All the way to 50. And a lot of y'all, men and women, that are not in relationships, you need to stop giving relationship advice. But I want to leave y'all with this. For women, I need y'all all to understand something. Many of you women should really be quiet when qualified men speak. You don't consider me qualified? That's fine. That's fine. I'm not mad. But I want to end it with this. I want to go to Genesis. I want to go to chapter 3. And I want y'all all to listen. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast in the field, which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said unto the woman, 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 unto the woman. Yeah, hath Christ, hath Elohim, hath the hath Yahuwah, hath God said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said to the woman, ye shall not surely die. So anyway, the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and the tree to be desired, to make one wise. She took off the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. I want you to understand what happens when you are a weak man in a situation with a woman that wants control. Any woman that wants control of her household is an agent of Satan. Let me repeat that. If a woman wants to control the relationship, she's an agent of Satan. That's not righteous. And if you are a man that will allow that, then you also are an agent of Satan. So I wanted to just go there just to let you all know that you men, the only way for us, because we cannot be a nation of people unless we have authority in our house. Now, if it's not your house, I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot of men, they're not under their own roof. I have family members like that. If it's not your roof, you in the way. That's all I can say. Because it's not the way it's supposed to be. And I know it's hard out here, man. Can't nobody tell me nothing about hardship. None of y'all. For some of y'all that want to say, well, man, it's hard out here. You ain't got to tell me because I know. Because hardly none of you, hardly, I'm not saying all of y'all, but very few of you have worked harder than me in life. Very few of you. Very few of you is tired and as worn down as I am. I'm finished. I got just a little bit left in me. I got about 10 more years left. And I'm trying to do something before that 10 years kick in. And I hope I succeed. I pray that I succeed. And I ask my wife to pray for me that I succeed. And I'm trying not to break. I got so many things on my shoulders. Us black men, it was told that we would always be hustling. When Adam and Eve broke that instruction, that's the consequence. The black man gonna always have to hustle. And the white man is right up against us. For a lot of you sisters out there, you need to understand when you start calling black men broke, oh, he broke, oh, he broke. The white power structure has us in position where we're rapping or we're playing sports or we're singing or we're trying to make it big real quick some type of way because the other way is not conditioned for us. And he makes it where now y'all in situations where y'all have to blow up or y'all got to do something where y'all can get this extreme amount of money. It's all or nothing. But some of you have gotten your niche in entertainment. Some of you have gotten your niche on social media. But some of you still try to do it in a disgraceful, disrespectful fashion. But you got to understand something, right? At the end of the day, all of us black men are within the white power structure. Now, I know that, right? We don't own nothing. I'm tired of these black economic people out here telling us that one day will be our day. That one day we're going to get that $100 trillion reparations. No, we're not. They would kill us all before they give us $100 trillion. You can forget those reparations. They're not coming. Not that amount. I can see something like a hundred million, maybe 500 million. But what's that to all these niggas? And they're not gonna give it to us like that. They're gonna give it to us in some type of centers, some type of coalitions or something. They're not gonna give us cash. That's all I wanted to say, man. Understand that if you're a man, you got to do within morality and within integrity and within being a good person. You have to do what it takes within the guidelines of respecting yourself. You got to do what it takes. Not whatever, not whatever I got to do, not I'll do anything, not whatever it takes, not by any means necessary. but with morale and integrity and with faith. With faith. So there are some good sisters out there that are looking for some pillars. And one last thing. Listen, I tell you, sometimes I get down on one knee like a broken old gray man because life takes its toll on me. Society takes its toll. All of this stuff is hard. And sometimes I got to get down on my one knee, man. Or I get on, or I get on both my knees and palms up, and I pray because this society is not for Negroes. It's not for black men. So women, y'all gotta understand that. Now I understand some of you women may be fed up with shucking and jiving. I understand that. But if he's trying and he's doing the things that he has to do to keep some change in his pocket, he's not trying to hurt nobody doing it. You know what I'm saying? Then that's different. You know?